obviously you guys are have some challenges at receiver this week. For you, with kind of with so many new guys coming in and just the inexperience in general at that position, what challenge does that present for you specifically as you're coming up with the game plan for the coming week?
Yeah, the first thing is you try to evaluate and see who's going to be healthy. You still got to, kind of gear your game plan towards what you expect to see from the defense. And then, you just got to work with the younger guys. And we talked to them today and said, hey, guys are going to have opportunities. And that's part of what this league's about. Cam Sims had an opportunity he didn't think he was going to get at the end of the game, and he made the most of it. So guys have got to step up. And then, we got to do a great job of preparing some of these guys that haven't played as much to make sure that they know what they're supposed to do and they're able to play fast and execute.
And with regards to, say, like spacing as the receivers have been running their routes, whether we're talking about down the field or shallow crossing routes, how do you kind of feel the spacing has been this year with what you guys have been doing?
There's been some times where we need to make some adjustments, and maybe a guy will slow down a little early, or maybe make a break a little short, and some spacing will be off. But I think for the most part, I think it's been good. I think some of those things you talk about with down the field. I mean, that's something that we've talked about. Obviously, we've talked about it in these sessions of getting some throws down the field. Last week against the Giants, they're a defense that they're geared towards preventing those types of throws. They'd only given up 13 passes over 20 yards going into our game. I think we had 3, which is about the average of what they've been giving up. So, certain defenses are going to give you certain things, and it's not wise to try to force it. But that is definitely an area that we need to improve.
Thank you.
Russell.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know the order. Hey, Scott. Kyle obviously was really successful. Well, you guys as a whole were successful on a bunch of the third downs, and of course the 2 fourth down conversions. Was there one common thread that maybe you saw that we can't see from our vantage point as to why there was so much success in that spot?
No, it's hard to say. I think as a group, we did a really nice job of executing. I felt like we had a good plan for what we expected. They did a lot of really max coverage type stuff where you kind of have to extend the plays, keep some stuff alive. Kyle did a good job of that on a couple of those third and fourth down plays. Where that's just you're going to have to do that. If they got a lot of guys in coverage, you're going to have to extend the play a little. We protected well for the most part up front. That's part of it. But I thought that was a step forward. We have not been good, obviously, on third down. So to get to over 50%, extend drives, keep the ball, keep our defense off the field, that was big. Obviously, the turnovers were an issue. We had 1 turnover on third down, which can't happen. But I felt like we improved in that area.
Last. Hey, Scott. As someone who grew up in the Cowboy Washington rivalry, does it all feel the same now? I mean, it's just such a weird year with COVID and everything, and I don't know if it all feels exactly the way it did, when you were growing up.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't really thought about it. When you're right in the middle of it, you just kind of think about your next opponents and the different challenges that this team, will bring. The time that those kind of things, just being in this league, the time that you feel the rivalries is really on game day. And I think the fans bring a lot of that into it. It's just kind of a little bit of a different energy, whether it was, obviously this is a rivalry that's been around a lot longer, but places I've coached before, like, Carolina, Atlanta, or just, different things, your divisional games, you kind of get the feel for that increases more, when you get to game day. I think, we're so caught up in the plan and how we're going to attack these guys and their specific players. But yeah, I think, COVID does give you a little bit of a different feel.
I would imagine some of the fans would be surprised to see the lineup at receiver this weekend. A lot of names they don't know. What can you tell us about the group you've got, and how you're going to make this work?
Well, we're going to evaluate, who we have as far as healthy. We had, Terry and Cam and Dontrell on the practice. They practiced today. We're going to, continue to evaluate the health of our other guys as the week goes on. and then we'll just have to make adjustments and be flexible to move people around. And like I said, get people to step up, maybe do some things that they haven't necessarily done before.
Does that limit what you're able to do offensively at all?
Yeah, you just have to be a little bit more specific, probably. I wouldn't say it limits it. You just, you try to take the burden off of younger guys, not trying to ask too much of them. There's always a fine line. You want to do enough to give yourself a chance to be successful, but not do too much where, you're putting your guys in jeopardy.
When it comes to Kyle, after such an up and down day with the 2 crushing turnovers, but then having that late drive and some other good things with third downs and things like that, where do you begin when it comes to reacting to that game and kind of coaching him up for the next one?
Yeah. So, we always just watch the tape. You start at the beginning and you evaluate every single play. I think, Kyle is he's a fighter, he's a competitor. But at some point you got to know when to say when, and, obviously you're pointing out the turnovers. A lot of that comes down to decision making. And, the third down, he'd done a great job late in the game, and he got some pressure on him. And the first thing you got to do is protect the ball, and he'd be the first person to tell you that. And trust in the rest of your team that we're going to go get a good punt off. We'll pin them, and then we'll play good defense. It's a tie game, so we talk a lot about play the game, don't just play plays. And I think understanding situations, is big, and know when to say when.
Scott, JP, then Nikki.
Hey, Scott Abraham, ABC7. As the offensive coordinator, you're always looking for that breakout game where the offense is clicking on all cylinders. You look at the Dallas defense, they've given up at least 34 points in 5 straight games. When you look at kind of this matchup, do you see this as an opportunity for maybe that breakout game offensively?
No, I mean, what I've told our guys week in and week out is that if we trust the process, we keep working and trying to improve to get better, then that, quote unquote breakout game is going to come, or we're just going to start consistently performing at the level we expect to here. And that's really more so because, every game is going to present itself a different set of challenges. I mean, like this game against the Giants last week, we were able to keep the ball. We moved the ball. Now we turned the ball over, and we got to finish. We got to do a better job. If we had 3 field goal attempts, that's got to be. We got to make those touchdowns. You got to finish drives, and then we're not even having this conversation about the other aspects of the game. And you can't turn the ball over. Going into this week, this team presents a different set of challenges. And I understand everything that you said, but they got some good players over there, and I know they're working and talking just like we are about trying to improve and get better. So we're just going to try to play our best, focus on ourselves, and see and play as well as we possibly can. And then I think the rest of that stuff takes care of itself.
Hey, Scott, I'm just curious, how would you compare just the actual functionality of the offense to the previous 2 weeks when you saw Alex in there, you saw Dwayne in there, versus Kyle got to run the show against the Giants?
Yeah, I mean, I think I think not comparing it, but I think we did a nice job of like you're saying, functioning as an offense. I think, like I said, we like to finish some of those drives that we had, can't turn the ball over. The prior weeks we had some different set of challenges as we've addressed earlier, but I think we're headed in the right direction. It's better, not to be confused with good, and we all have to get better, starting with myself and the coaches and everything. But I feel like we're working in the right direction. The energy, enthusiasm that these guys come to work with every day is outstanding, and I think that ultimately we're going to get where we want to go.
It's better, not to be confused with good, is a very good line. But I wanted to ask you, you seem like such a positive person. The record's not what you want it to be. You got injuries, that wide out, tight end, all these spots. How do you maintain your positivity with this team going into what is still a big game in the division?
Yeah, I mean, I wish I was always positive. Everyone has their ups and downs. And what we try to do is just be honest with ourselves. I try to look in the mirror and be honest with myself. we focus on, the guys that we have and what can they do, and not worry about, what guys can't do, or, what kind of limitations we have, because nobody ultimately cares. This is National Football League, and we got to get ready to play Dallas on Sunday. So we got to put forth the best plan we have with the guys that are able to go play, and go see what happens, because, and me being upset or feeling sorry for myself, or, shoot, this isn't going the way I expected it to, that doesn't get us anywhere. So, as a group, that's what I'm talking about. As far as a group, we guys have rallied, and they're working hard, and, hopefully that it shows up on the field as I expect it to.
Nikki?
Hi, Scott. Does having running backs who have played receiver or are versatile enough to do both, does that help you in situations like this where you lack depth at receiver, and can you use those guys in different ways than maybe you ordinarily would?
Yeah, I think you look at everything. I think that if you got guys that have done things in the past like that, then that's definitely an option. That's something, we've lined guys up out there so far this year. So that's definitely something that we get into. And again, we're going to do whatever we can that we feel gives us the best chance to win. And that's part of that is trying to put the best 11 guys on the field. So, I think we'll look at every opportunity that we have.
Take 3 more.
Hey, Scott, John Kine with ESPN. When you have a coach who likes to go for it on 4th down, aggressive in the 2-point area, what does that do for you as a play caller and as a staff?
Well, coach does a really good job of communicating that stuff with me. So it's never a surprise. Also, I've been around him a decent amount, so I kind of understand when it's coming. It's not just like on a whim. All these things are calculated. There's there's algorithms and all that kind of stuff behind it. So there's a little bit of an idea what you're getting yourself into. So like sometimes on 3rd down, but you never want a 4th down. Obviously we know the risk involved with going for it on 4th down. But, the way that we talk about with the quarterback sometimes is like you're in that situation where you may go for it on 4th and short. Instead of trying to force the ball into a coverage deal, we might take more of an underneath throw where if a guy doesn't break a tackle, now you could potentially go for it on a 4th and 2, which gives you more of an opportunity to keep a drive alive. That I can factor that into my 3rd down calls as well. Sometimes if you're in that area where you may go for it on 4th down, that gets factored into your 1st and 2nd down calls, based on where that 1st and 10, where the ball is, knowing that you do have an extra down. So, it all kind of comes together. You want to definitely keep that in mind. Like I'm saying, you don't even really like to get the 3rd down. You like to get the 1st downs right away, but knowing that you have that extra down is good to know.
But Scott, I was actually more so talking about just from either an excitement standpoint, accountability. Do you like having that put in your hands like that? Is there something that kind of, when he says, when you're going for it, what's that feeling like for you as a staff? Do you relish those times?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when coach is saying that we're going to go for it on 4th down, he's letting us know that he believes in us as an offense. He believes that we're going to get it done. And, we had 2 4th downs, we converted them. And then obviously the 2-point conversion, we didn't get it done, and you feel like, you let them down, you let the team down. But, absolutely anybody that's a competitor, is going to relish and step up to those situations. And if you coach in this league, you play in this league, you do it because you hope you get in a situation like that where it's on your shoulders.
Hey guys, got time for 1 more.
Say who else?
Hey, Scott. I was just wondering, we've talked a lot about Antonio Gibson as a runner, but if he has to, catch more passes this week because of the injuries at the position, what do you think of Antonio Gibson as a receiver?
Yeah, as a young guy and just, kind of learning to play and starting to play. And again, not only playing, 6 games so far in this league. It's kind of that fine line I was talking about with some other guys where you want to give him enough to be successful, but not give him too much where he doesn't play fast or he's overwhelmed or he makes mistakes. So again, Antonio's got an interesting skill set, as do a few other guys on our roster. He's done a couple things at receiver so far, and that definitely is something that we'd like to expand on, because he does have the physical tools to be successful there.
Are there more things that you can throw on his plate because he played receiver in college primarily?
Yeah, it's just it's not, the thing about it is with a guy like Antonio, or with any of our guys, especially the young guys, it's not always just the physical. It's not, can he physically do this? It's, can he mentally do this, and can he mentally do it at a high level, as well as all the other things you want him to do. So you just got to kind of pick and choose your spots, and make sure we do a great job preparing him, and not put him in a position where he, we're asking too much of the guy.